Impact. Impact. YouTube, what's going on? If you're new here, my name's Roger. I own a company called QVO Tactical where we make holsters and gear and also film content for this channel. In today's video, we have something a little different for you. If you saw one of our recent vlogs, you know that I went with my buddy Mushi to shoot an AR precision match recently. Needless to say, I really enjoyed the match and decided that I wanted to repurpose some of my longer AR builds into ones that I could use for some precision shooting.
Impact.
Impact, same spot. Now let me preface this video by saying I am not a long-range guy and I'm not claiming to be one. I wanted to make this video to show everyone my experiences with getting set up for an AR precision match. I want to cover everything from acceptable builds to how the stages are at the match, things I learned, and also things that I wish I would have known before going into a match. I also want to let you know that this video is going to be a little longer than most of our videos as we do have a lot to cover. So let's first start with the builds. I've kind of categorized these based on budget. I will say that even our budget-friendly gun is a little pricey. However, it is significantly less than the other builds, and it was still able to hit 640 yards consistently. All right, so the first build, our budget build. This is a Radical Firearms Blue Line rifle chambered in 5.56 with a 16-inch barrel and standard controls. I switched out the fire control group with a Geissele SSAE, which you all know is one of my favorite triggers, and put in a short throw ambidextrous safety from Battle Arms. In addition to that, I added an M-LOK UTG bipod, which only cost around $45, along with an Atabal X 1-10 scope, mounted via a Bobro Engineering 35mm mount. Lastly, we threw on the Radical 7.62 can, which can be purchased for around $275. Yes, that's correct, a suppressor for $275. This entire build puts you at about the $2,000 range. I know for some of you out there that may seem a little pricey, but that's everything, including the gun, the scope, and the suppressor. So I definitely think that's more on the budget-friendly side. Depending on what you can find on sale, this build may also just be plus or minus $100. Next up is my ADM UIC Mod 2, which I have a 14.5-inch barrel pinned and welded to a Surefire War Comp. This gun alone will run you about $1,800. The scope on it is the Leupold Mark 6, which runs about $2,000. Throw on the Surefire SOCOM RC2 suppressor for another $1,200. Altogether, you're looking at a little over $5 grand when you include the Magpul bipod and the ADM scope mount. The last of the builds is what I used in that competition I attended with Mushi. This is my Battle Arms Authority Elite rifle with a 16-inch barrel. This gun runs about $2,300. I then threw on my Griffin Armament M4 SD suppressor for about $1,000, a Geissele SSAE trigger, and a Primary Arms 2.5 to 10 first focal plane scope for about $700. Add the ADM mount, the Magpul bipod, and this entire setup is running for around $5 grand as well. The reason I went with this setup for the match is because I wanted that 16-inch barrel and the lightweight features of the Authority Elite rifle. I will definitely say that even the lightest rifle gets heavy at the end of one of these matches. So let's break down some of the stuff I learned along the way with shooting this match. The first is ammunition. Before shooting this match, I never knew that 1, you could get 223 5.56 to reach out that far, and 2, that you'd want match grade ammo in the 75 to 77 grain range, and you'd want it to come from the same lot number. With all the variables that go into precision shooting, I'm learning that any little thing like a change in bullet weight between lot numbers, wind, temperature, and a variety of other things can throw off the accuracy of your rifle. Getting all of your ammo from the same lot number helps to ensure that the specs on all of the rounds are the same as they were all manufactured at the same time. You also want to test your ammo before the match to ensure that it properly works in your gun. My ammo didn't come in before the match, it didn't come in time, so I actually used some Mushi 77 grain IMI ammo. Come to find out, this ammo is known for having issues with primers falling out, which resulted in me having to clear multiple malfunctions during the match, which cost me a lot of points. All good though, you live and you learn. I am now running PMC X-Tac 77 grain and it's performing flawlessly. Now, when zeroing, I'd always gone out and shot decent groups with my guns, but never the kind of stuff where your rounds are all touching or are within an inch of each other, meaning that your gun is shooting sub-MOA. I'm sure that it was just me, as most of my guns I'm finding out are pretty capable. If you're not familiar with MOA, MIL, or MRAD, I definitely think a Google search is in store for you. Learn this stuff, as it definitely helped me out when going to zero my rifles properly. From my understanding, sub-MOA means that your gun or barrel is capable of shooting groups under an inch diameter at 100 yards. You see, I typically zero my rifles at 100 yards, and once I learned that 1 mil is equal to 3.6 inches, I was able to zero more quickly using math. For example, my scope adjusts in increments of 1/10 mil, so that means that every 10 clicks is equal to 1 mil. So if I shoot my zeroing target and I'm 3 inches high, I simply divide 3 by 0.36, which equals 8.3. Now I know that I need to come down 8 clicks or adjustments to get my rifle zeroed properly. This will definitely benefit you to learn about your scope, what it's measured in, and how to get the most accurate zero. After doing this and learning my holdovers, hitting 640 yards consistently became a much easier task. I know some of you might be asking why 640 yards. That's because at the match I shot, that was the furthest target out, so that's what I set up for when we went out to do some training. Some scopes are different, like my Mark 6 from Leupold, which has increments of 0.2 mil, meaning that 5 clicks equals 1 mil. And if you have a minute of angle or MOA scope, then you also need to see what your adjustment increments are with a different formula. Again, guys, I want to explain to you that I'm not a precision guy, but I am learning, and I think that this information will help some of you out there, as it did for me when going to shoot an actual match. Now that you have your scope zeroed with the ammo you're going to use for your AR precision match, you need to sign up. We typically sign up on Practice Score and get into a squad together so we can all shoot with our friends. Make sure you register early, or your squad might get filled up and you won't be able to join that squad that all your friends are on. Okay, so moving on, let's talk about some gear you might want to pick up. The first thing for me was shooting bags. I learned this quickly as I had to borrow my buddies during the match. After my first match, I ordered pillow-like ones, small rear ones, even ones that fold over angles or edges, different bags for different positions. I typically decided to go with ones that use polymer beads, as it keeps the bag waterproof. I would invest in a suppressor cover, as the guns do get very hot when shooting these matches. I'd also bring some type of towel or a covering to drape over your gun while it's on the rifle rack when while you're waiting to shoot. I didn't do this during my first match, and since it was 117 degrees out, my gun was almost too hot to touch since it has a metal trigger guard. One thing you will definitely need is a chamber flag. Yes, that little orange thing that comes with your gun when you buy it that everybody throws away. This thing actually has to be in the gun at all times when you're not shooting, or you're going to find yourself going home with the big DQ. Now, when you get to the match, you typically meet with the match director, get signed in, and pay your fee. Now, let me tell you, I've had both good and bad experiences with shooting matches here in Vegas. Some matches, everyone is super friendly and helpful, and others not so much. This last AR Precision match had a lot of shooters from a Precision club who were all wearing their own matching gear. This can be somewhat intimidating, as no one really wanted to talk to us, nobody really wanted to help us out. But luckily, we got to watch a few of them shoot in our squad before we had to go up on stage and shoot, so that kind of helped us out with seeing how the stage went. Tyler of Max Ordnance, he was actually out at the match, and he saw that we were all new shooters. He was super friendly and jumped in there and started helping us out, just trying to get us squared away for the match. So Tyler, dude, thank you. I really appreciate it. We all did. The RO for each squad will explain each stage. However, if you've never been to a match before, the verbiage isn't always clear, and some targets are so far that it's difficult to see without magnification. So those are some things you might want to keep in mind. Now, when the match starts, you'll have 3 people doing something at all times. It'll be the person shooting, the person on deck, which is the next person that is up to shoot, and the person in the hole, which is the second to next person to shoot. When in the hole, you're pretty much just watching what's going on and getting ready to be the person on deck. You're not touching your gun, you're not stepping into the shooting area, you're just observing. The person on deck is grabbing their rifle, still leaving the chamber flag in, and making sure that their magnification is set to where they want. The person shooting is obviously shooting the stage. When it is your turn to shoot, you'll walk up to the line with your muzzle up, the gun on safe, and the chamber flag in. The RO will tell you to remove the flag and load your rifle. This means that you seat the magazine, but you do not drop the bolt or chamber the round. Once you are ready, you'll be standing at the line with your shooting bag in your support hand and your rifle in the other. The RO will confirm that the spotter is ready, and then he will confirm that you are ready before hitting the buzzer. Once the buzzer goes off, you approach the stage, you set your bag down, prop your rifle against your bag, and then you drop your bolt. You then engage your targets.
Spotter ready.
Ready.
Shooter ready.
Ready.
Stand by.
Impact. Impact.
If the stage has you move from one position to another, you're going to have to place your rifle on safe while yelling the word safe so the RO knows that the gun is on safe.
Impact.
Safe.
Impact. Impact.
Safe. Once you finish the stage, you will unload your rifle and reinsert your chamber flag. You then return the rifle to the rack, and that's where it sits until you are on deck again. This was a lot to take in, especially for me at my first match, and a little overwhelming. The stages also were not easy. For example, the winner of the entire match that I went to was only able to hit 77% of the targets that we were supposed to hit. Now don't let this discourage you, because they are really fun matches, but at the same time they're really tough and it does test your ability to be accurate. I told John and Eric about the match, so we decided to sign up for the next one. One of the stages had a tank barricade we shot from, so I told John about that, so he actually built one in his backyard for us to practice from, which is really cool. We then grabbed a bunch of the guys and headed out to our shooting spot at 5 a.m. A couple Saturdays ago, and we zeroed our guns to our specific ammo, and then we took turns running each other through mock stages just to practice. All right guys, so after you move your chamber flag, you load the mag. Bolt's still going to be to the rear. They will call to see if the spotter is ready. Once he confirms the shooter is ready, he'll confirm that as well. They'll give you the buzzer. You have 90 seconds. You'll engage the first tip. You're going to come here with whatever bag you have you want to use. From each tip, you have to get 2 hits on the target at 331 yards. You have to get 2 hits on this tip to go to the center. So the shooting sequence goes tip, center, tip, center, tip. Okay? You have to get 2 hits at each marking point, and you can't shoot the same tip twice. Okay? So that's how the stage works. That's one of the stages that we did. Pulled it right from there so we can practice this. Cool? Clear as mud?
Yep. Clear.
All right. Spotter ready?
Yep.
Shooter ready?
Ready.
Stand by.
Impact.
Out.
What do you think, John? Same stability stuff?
Oh yeah, all over the place.
Maybe we'll look at some new bags.
Maybe. Yeah, something that'll rest on there a little better. Impact. Impact.
Safe.
Fine. Cool thing to note here, so at 90 seconds, say they give you a half-second leeway. So getting that last shot, say you got your hit on the last shot, and it was 90.3. As long as it's not past the halfway mark, they would give it to you.
Okay, cool.
Stability still?
Yeah. Finding the right bag and stability. Controlling my breath.
Yeah, breathing. It's funny how we're not really doing anything, but just the competition aspect and knowing it starts, boom, getting that heart rate going.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it'll just come from doing a bunch of them.
Yep.
All right, next up.
Impact. Impact.
Safe.
Impact. Impact.
Safe.
Impact. Impact.
Safe.
Impact. Impact.
Safe.
Impact. Impact.
Time.
70-85.
Hey-o.
Nice.
Got a stage completed. Okay, so messing with the holdovers. We're using that Straight Lock app, which is an awesome app. However, the exact reticle I guess I have in here, the 2.5 to 10 for the Raptor, is not in the app, so I'll ask about that. But once figuring out the holdovers, yeah, it's just getting a stable platform like you were saying earlier with the legs, getting a stable base, and then just trying to get this. I like this bag for a resting bag for the rear, but for the front, it's got these polymer beads in it, which keeps it super lightweight and waterproof, but I feel like it's filled too much. So maybe we might slice a hole and put a zipper or something in it to make it a little less so we can get it to mount on these corners. But overall, like, stoked to get a completed stage. Next up.
You know. Impact. Impact.
Safe.
Impact. Impact. Impact.
What was the time on that last hit?
89-83.
Hey-o, you got it in right before, dude. Dude,
Nice.
you got through
Yeah.
3 parts of the stage, man.
Woo!
All right, so what changed?
Well, I figured out my holdover. It was a little bit lower than what I thought, and that helped a lot. And then I was able to spend less time thinking about that and focus on everything else, like a little bit more on my stance, staying stable.
Find a little nice sweet point in that pillow now.
Yeah,
Cool, man.
a lot more proud of that run.
What do you think? Worth waking up at 4:45 this morning?
I didn't think so at first, but definitely.
The guys quickly learned how difficult this can be. They also learned how fulfilling it is to hit targets at distance consistently. Take our buddy Fitz, for example. He's only shot an AR-15 maybe a handful of times, pretty much on this channel. Once I explained the holdovers to him, he was hitting the target at 460 yards with the 14.5 in ADM consistently, and he was stoked. Super fulfilling. It's definitely worth getting into. Speaking of holdovers, let's talk about that. I actually use an app called Straight Lock Pro. This app is great because it allows you to enter all of the information of your gun, your scope, the ammunition you're using. The app gets pretty detailed in regards to specific ammo, the reticle of your scope, and the barrel length, even like the scope height of your mount. Once you enter all of this, the app calculates the holdovers and produces an image that you can save to your phone for reference. It's of the actual reticle that you are using with the holdovers labeled, so that you know where to place your reticle when shooting or aiming at distance. Now I know you pros out there are going to tell me that I should be dialing in my scope to point of aim, point of impact, and using dope. And to that I'll say, guys, I'm working on it and I'll get there. But for me right now, I just have to walk before I can run. Well guys, that's about everything I wanted to share with you from my first AR precision match. I hope it helped some of you guys out there that are thinking about getting into this. If you're local to the Vegas area, definitely sign up for them because you'll probably see me and my buddies out there. I ended up placing 17th out of the 28 that shot at the last match. I did beat my buddy Mushi, for those of you wondering. If you're interested in this type of thing, I again hope this video helped you out. I'll be having some more videos coming up as I'm going to be getting a new 18-inch rifle for these matches along with a new 1-to-10 scope to try out. If you're a precision guy and you have some tips or helpful advice, please let us know down below in the comments. We definitely welcome that and appreciate it. I hope you guys liked the video. If you did, give us a thumbs up down below. If you are new to the channel, please consider subscribing as we post new videos every week. If you want to support our content, check out that Patreon link down below. Members of our Patreon squad get first access to new content, new gear, special discounts, giveaways, stuff like that. They are a big reason why we can continue to create the content that we do. And as always guys, thanks for watching and I will see you in the next video. Where are you?
And ammo's expensive.
I cannot afford to do this many more times.
Where are you? And I'm so sorry.
The ones that I could use for some precision. Gonna
keep it rolling.
Good? Shit. Woo! It's tough. I started struggling the last time like Is it not crazy how difficult it is?
It's not fun.
I had fun.
It's difficult.
So what are you finding?
Just stability.
Right?
I could not, no matter what I did, keep the gun stable.
Impact. Impact. Impact.